I hope that by the end of this show we'd have established whether there's a problem with mothers-in-law or it's the problem with the ladies. Because every time we talk about mothers-in-law, you will hear someone talking about sisters-in-law. You'll also be hearing someone talking about daughters-in-law. These three will always seem to have a problem. But at least over time, there's been a change to this tone that for once you can sit with some lady or you can sit with someone and they tell you, hey, I have the best mother-in-law around. And like back then, even in our young ages, we used to hear people complaining about their mothers-in-law, complaining about their sisters-in-law, and you just ask yourself, what is not happening? Some bit of statistics here. They say that still mothers-in-law related their relationship with their daughters-in-law much sunnier than vice versa. That 33% strongly agreed the two were close compared to 18% for the younger women. 42% strongly agreed they admired their daughters-in-law, but only 23% of the younger women felt the same way about their husband's mother. When you look at these statistics, nothing hits the 50% mark. So that tells you there is a problem. And so this morning, we get into a very, very important conversation that is about relationships with the mothers-in-law or with the mother-in-law, relationship with the mother-in-law. And taking us through this is a psychologist, Cecilia Mutemi. Perhaps I'd start by asking her whether she's a daughter-in-law and whether she's a mother-in-law at some point in time and a sister-in-law. And even tell us whether there's a problem with the ladies. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for having me, Linda. Yes, I have a mother-in-law, and recently, I'm also a mother-in-law. My daughter is married.
Oh, so
nice. I have a son-in-law.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yes, I have sisters-in-law, I have brothers-in-law. Yes.
How has it been like for you? And I mean, because there's always this thing there's always that uncomfortable moment that is there.
Okay, let me say, it's not personal, but it's not been a walk in the park. And as long as you find your balance, know your place in the home, know your place with your husband, know your place with your sisters and brothers-in-law, you can always work something out. But the name mother-in-law is a name that is dreaded.
Right.
Yes.
So what informs this over time that unasikia mother-in-law karibu sijui upitie wapi and even when the mother-in-law appears to be a good one generally, you know, from the outside people are looking at this woman and they're thinking this is such a good woman, you know, a good-hearted woman, a nice soul. But when it gets to their daughters-in-law, there's always something. And when it gets to even the son-in-law sometimes, there's just something that is off.
I guess it's, or I believe it's, one is a myth. And one-sided, it could be true because we are human. She's not an angel, I'm not an angel. And like most daughters-in-law get into a marriage, I feel like most of them are prepared more for the mother-in-law than they are prepared for their marriage, because they always have that notion or that feeling that even like when you're going through your premarital classes in church, or whoever who's taking it out for you, whether it's a psychologist, it's a catechist, it's a priest, you are more prepared for the mother-in-law than you are prepared for the marriage. So I believe the mother-in-law has a great impact. I mean, she's a matriarch that you have. I don't know if mothers-in-law, I feel like they have that thing of, this is my son, I have brought him up, taken care of him, and here I am just going to release him to another woman that I don't know. And worst case scenario is if your mother-in-law never accepted you as a daughter-in-law and your husband went forward and married you, there'll always be some, no matter how you pretend, no matter how you try to cover it up, there'll always be that thing like, huyu hakuwa mzuri kwangu. So a lot of things come up. But at the end of the day, if you know your place in that home, and if you and your husband speak in one language, give her the respect she deserves. But you know your place.
Quite a delicate balance, yeah? Quite a delicate balance. And now that you bring the husband in the picture, or even the other way around, the daughter in the picture, who's now married to this man, and this man is looking at this woman as the mother-in-law. Somehow, if there's going to be friction between these two people, the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, the son-in-law, this will trickle down to the nuclear aspect of your family, and perhaps, extended to that extended face of the family. Why is it always that it becomes hard for people to even manage their own issues at the home setup, just because then mother-in-law somewhere is not happy?
I think out of experience, apart from the people that I meet day to day, coming for counseling and therapy, the best thing is respect each other's space.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law should respect my space. I should respect my son-in-law's space, and I should respect her space. When I go to her house, I'm her guest. When she comes to my house, she's my guest, of which you find it very hard with mothers-in-law as opposed to any other in-law. Actually, with mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, sisters-in-law. Yeah. Because usually fathers-in-law are easy, brothers-in-law careless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a problem of women to conclude, or what? Because I just told the gentlemen that were stepping out that we're going to discuss our relationship with mother-in-law, and they were like, fathers-in-law ni wa rahisi. And I think I agree to the fact that yes, fathers-in-law, the brothers-in-law are easy people to deal with. So is it a problem with the women?
I guess because we pay a lot of attention to detail.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you go today, your mother-in-law doesn't like you, just her energy, the makeup.
She talks too much.
She just doesn't feel like you're the right candidate to nowadays it's like they're candidates.
Unakuja hapo unaangaliwa,
unakuja hapa kufanya nini, and then there's so many things that bring that rift. One would just be, there are good and bad people in every society. Not all mothers-in-law are bad. Not all daughters-in-law are bad. But woe unto you if you meet one whose spirits do not align with yours. You can have hell. But again, even with daughters-in-law, not daughters-in-law, daughters-in-law, you can come and find there's a very good mother-in-law, but the daughter-in-law kule ametoka with that notion of it's
ready to attack, ready to face the mother-in-law.
Yes, ready to face.
In most cases wouldn't be good.
But not all of them are bad. But again, it trickles down to respect my space, I respect your space. Yes.
All right. In respect, then you also do not want to rub your partner the wrong way.
Yes.
Because remember, you're talking about their mother.
Yes.
And you being their wife or their husband, again, there's that aspect of love.
Yes.
And sometimes therein, children are growing or children are born. And these children then become grandchildren to this mother. And, it grows and grows bigger. How do you handle, those ones that are extreme? Because there are those ones that would get to extreme levels without, hurting the feelings of your partner. Because I'll tell you this for free. No matter how bad my mother is, if my husband is to speak ill of her, it will hurt me big time. And I think vice versa. If she speaks ill of my husband as well, it will hurt me, big time. So how do you create that balance, especially for those ones that would go to extremes, to make sure that then it does not hurt your own special relationship?
Okay, like when you're getting into a marriage, already I know my mother. And my husband knows his mother. So there are things that I would tell him as a lady, and he knows definitely my mom cannot do this.
Okay.
And there are things that he would tell me about my mother, and I know. So as long as you're speaking the truth and you're speaking the same language, you'd always, the thing that would bring issues is if now your husband just doesn't believe in what you say, you're not speaking in the same language, and he's just mommy's boy and he leans on whatever he's told. Yes. But if you're speaking the same language and he knows, of course, like now today, when I was getting married, there are things that I know, if my husband came and told me about my mother, I would know, yes, my mother can do that or she cannot do that. And same with him. There are things that he would know. If I'd come and tell him, your mother has done this, there are things he would know he can do or he cannot do. But most of the time between the mother-in-law and the son-in-law, Most of the time between the mother-in-law and her son, the son is the one who is in a precarious situation because he wants to please the wife, he wants to please the mother. Worst case scenario, if this is the only boy,
that becomes a mama's boy automatically.
Yes. You will have to grace either long days, or you will have to know how utajipanga. In short, yeah.
So in jipangaring, how do you handle this if you the other partner, or if it's your mother that is being accused here, or it's your wife or husband that is being accused here? How do you come in then to create that balance? It's fine, it's incumbent upon the party that is being disgruntled to address it in the best way they know how. But also the involvement of their partner is very important. You want your husband maybe to come and defend you, or you want your husband, your child to come and defend you as the mother. How do you create that balance?
The one thing I'll say is the truth always comes out. The truth sets you free. So as long as, even as a daughter-in-law, there are things you'd want now, I'd better put it in Kiswahili, to torture your husband.
Yes.
They kosana with the mom.
That's true.
But as long as you stick to your lane, as I said initially, your space, I will not interfere in yours, don't interfere in mine. Let's have that mutual respect.
That also, I think, is a little bit uncomfortable, because you as a partner would wish for, these two people to have, that coexistence, to enjoy each other, to be friends, more of that. So in this aspect of saying in lanes, stick to your line, I'll stick to mine, there's always a clear rift. There's always a, I can't go to these extremes. And then also it's a very uncomfortable feeling for people around. So then how?
Yeah. Now now your husband has to come in there, and because definitely when you're getting married, you set your own rules. You set your own rules. You know how you want to run your home. This is what you want. So I tell my people, you tell your people. Do not overstep her boundaries. Do not overstep his boundaries. How
realistic is that today I'll get married and now I'll sit my parents and tell them, by the way, this is how my husband is, or this is how my fiancé is. So please, do not go to such extremes and all that. And sometimes it's such a happy home, happy family, and you're assuming the way they have loved you, they will love your partner. So are there moments where we have such conversations? And is it okay for you to warn, and I'll use the word, warn your partner? I remember there's a time I was sitting with my brother and had, his then fiancé, who's now the wife right now, or watching a movie, some Nigerian movie, and there are sisters-in-law that really are unbearable in this movie. And then, my brother somehow says, hey, na huyu anakaa kama Nancy, and that one behaves like Damaris, as though to warn her that, hey, these are the people that you're expecting to meet. Is it in order to warn her about the extremes of your mom and the extremes that your sisters can go?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I always say, speak the same language.
Is that not arming her to now fight? That they come in more prepared, like you say, for the mother-in-law and the sister-in-law more than they are for the marriage?
No, speak in the same language. As long as you and your husband speak in the same language, because here the person who determines a lot is your husband. Because like me, I would say, I'd be bold. I'd tell my mother, I'd tell my sisters, I'd tell my husbands, my brothers, this is how I want you to respect my home. And women, we are firm, and I will hold on to it. But then my husband goes there and he decides to tell his mom, his sisters, his brothers, you need to respect this lady with respect and keep your boundaries. Now, women, we always know of how to bring men down. That's when now you'll start hearing things like, oh, Mary amekalia bonake, Cecilia amekalia bonake. And now this man now, if he has an ego issue, he succumbs to all this. And there's always a fight. And actually most marriages are broken by in-laws. Yes.
How different is it for these ones that come and tell us, hey, I have the best mother-in-law, that this one is is it a question of personality, or is just that they've known how to handle these women?
One should be personality. Another one should be, don't take God for granted, prayers work.
Okay.
Another one could be God. And another one could just be the couple. Yes, because like, for example, Linda, today, you and your husband, you're married. As long as your husband doesn't take your personal issues to his brothers, sisters, and mother-in-law, and you do the same, you do not take them there, you see, you remain together. And when you're together, you speak the same language. When you're speaking the same language, it's like soldiers going for battle together. Marriages are battles, if I can tell you. So you have to speak the same language to be able to get to the other side.
Yeah.
And we always say as psychologists, once you're done with 7 years, you're done. Not you're done, you
like
can
now
survive.
that you can survive.
Yes.
All right, 7 years are as good as that mark of survival.
Yes.
Okay, you get to experience or you get to encounter people who come to you for professional advice on how to deal with their mothers-in-law. Yeah, do you?
Yes, I do. And now when they come, it depends on the personalities, because someone can come ranting, speaking negatively, and you'd go and, you know, like, just let them slow down. You've told me so much negativity about this woman. Is there anything good about them? Is there anything positive? Does she have anything good that you would say? And some, it's so much engraved in their system, they would say, I don't think so. Sifikiri, tupite njia ingine. How do I help you if you do not want to tell me? Your attitude towards it also counts a lot. Yeah, your attitude towards it counts a lot. And I say time works miracles, because the way I am in today, having been married for 28 years, I'm going to 30 years, is not the way I was when I was married for a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So experience also, you always say experience is the best teacher, and most of them, you'd ask them to give time.
Yeah.
But it reaches to a point that now you have to either give therapy to both of them and get to know where the problem is. Because at times it's a husband. I got married and this lady has to look for a way to fit in my family. She's the one who came to the family, and this lady doesn't want to be taken that way. They also need to accept me. Yeah.
All right. In the process of trying to fit in, there's a lot of pretense that plays out, and I'll tell you, most of the times you go there, you are a trouser person, you will have to buy a new dress because you have to please these people. There are instances where, well, you speak so much so, but you have to hold yourself and remind yourself that, you are in the in-laws side, and therefore you have to keep your silent and all that. What are the dangers of pretending too much, or sometimes does it help save the situation?
Pretending and not being you does not help, because you'll get tired, and the true you will come out. So what I always tell people, and it has worked also for me, because now I'm experienced, just do you. Linda, just be you. They like you, they don't like you. Definitely, they'll not hate you forever. They will come and see, because it's like these in-law issues, it's like you're put to a test. It's like a battle. It's like you're being tested. Are you good enough for us? But as long as you and your husband, you have decided what you want. Like me, I kept saying, if I Kosana with my husband, it will be me and him. Not my mother or his mother, not my sisters and brothers, not his either. So as long as, again, at the end of the day, it also depends on your relationship with him, because there's some men who are not supportive. There's some women who are not supportive. There's some women who are just rebel raisers. There's some men who are just trouble makers. Yeah, So I wouldn't ask you to pretend, Linda. I would just tell you, be you.
How different is it for those ones that have to live with these women? In the same compound, in the same area, and we see that a lot, because then you're married, and the young man, has a home around home, and therefore you have to stay with the mother. Sometimes you're even told that it's your business to take care of her.
It depends. It depends on a lot of issues. It depends on how she also takes you. Definitely, there's no mother-in-law who will take you like her daughter. And as much as you try, because I feel there's no woman who goes into a marriage wanting to leave, you know, because of in-law issues. It's tough. It's not easy. It's an uphill task. And again, the space, what I have seen work for so many people, including myself, is the space. You need to have that healthy space. You need to have that healthy space to make decisions for your husband. You need to have healthy space to make decisions for Cecilia. Do I want to wear a black dress today? Do I want to wear a trouser? Do I want to leave my hair loose? Do I want to braid my hair? Do I want to cut my hair? You know, I need to be given space. As a daughter-in-law, I need to give my son-in-law space with my daughter to be able to grow their marriage. Because me being there, as we are told, a marriage is between two people and God. If there has, not even the children you're going to give birth to, if there has to be a third person, unless he or she is coming in to help, it's between the two of you. Yeah.
If you can have it good, like a strong and a good relationship, how much of a plus is that?
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Beyond a plus, it's actually a blessing.
It's a blessing.
And a rare one for that matter.
But time is good.
It allows for that.
It allows for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So sometimes you walk into this and in the middle of all this pretense, you can't quite tell whether someone is toxic or not. What are some of the signs to look out for? And like you say, it's not in order for you to go there always looking for trouble and moving around seeing whether this is something that looks like trouble. But there are instances where you are, you know, invited to be on alert. And so what are some of the signs to look out for to know whether this one is toxic, this one, let's keep, you know, a distance, this one, let's have, you know, a clear-cut line as to what extremes we can go and all that?
Yeah. One thing, if you want to know of a toxic mother-in-law, is that, again, she will not respect your space, she will be domineering, she will want you to do what she wants for her son, from how to cook for her son, how to make his bed, how to talk in front of people, how to involve her in your day-to-day decisions, from small things like even cooking. And another trait that I have noticed over the years and so many ladies talk about is a mother-in-law who keeps on mentioning your husband's ex. Ule alikuwa mzuri. Huyo angeoa huyo, you know? Yeah, so already this is someone who is out to look, you know, like to hurt you, to bring out the worst in you. But you know what? Your level of maturity there matters. Why, kama alikuwa mzuri, why didn't he marry her? Yeah, why did he choose me over? Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we want to go extreme because the mother-in-law is a little bit annoying, yes, but there's the father-in-law on this other side who's amazingly good, and perhaps welcoming and all that. And therein we get swallowed and we outrightly show our appreciation and affection towards the fathers-in-law.
Yes.
And for a moment we keep that evident distance with the mothers-in-law. What is that? And can it cost this beautiful relationship?
Yes, it can. Yes, it cannot. Because it might get to a point that if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if, like, I have a good relationship with my father-in-law, means I'm not the problem. I have a good relationship with my brothers-in-law and my sisters-in-law. I'm not the problem. Why is it that I only have a bad relationship with my mother-in-law? Is it her? Or is it what I have been groomed by my friends, by the society, by where I'm coming from? Yes, a mother-in-law is a matriarch of that home. Yeah. But I always say, as a mother-in-law, okay, I never got sons, but I used to say I would be the best mother-in-law because if I love, like now, I have a son-in-law The way I love my daughter
It's the same way.
and this is the boy she has chosen to spend the rest of her life with. I mean, what reason do I have not to love him? What reason do I have not to treat him like my son? And like those traits are things that I learned from my mother. God rest her soul in peace. She passed away last January. I would go and like tell her, like, my husband is coming home late, or my husband is with the boys most of the time, and like, I'm just feeling tired. Like, know how to bring him home early. Don't you think maybe you make too much noise? Don't you think, you know, she would always cover her son-in-laws. Yeah, and if you push her, she tells you it's your bed. You're the one who's going to lie on it. Know what to do.
Wow.
Go to whatever levels you'll do. Pray about it. Go for therapy. Sit him down. Look for elders.
Whichever way.
Yeah, whichever way.
Bring him back home.
Yeah, just make it work.
And somehow it worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know, we have spoken about this conversation and for a moment, and it's fine. Sometimes we are told, even in a family setup,
Yes.
you are 7 siblings, but you look at your mother as though they are your own mother.
Yes.
You look at your father as though they are your own father, and there are no other people around. So we've had this conversation, and for a moment thought that, you know, it's going to be a mother-in-law to one daughter, and that's it. But there are also other sons that have married, or there are other daughters that have been, you know, married, and therefore sons-in-law are becoming many in this space. There are scenarios where there's polygamy, and so this one son has got like 3 wives and all that. And all these people are looking at one mother-in-law. How different is it in such scenario? And especially when the mothers will be tempted to start comparing.
Yeah, you know what happens? This is not personal, but this is something that in chamas, in therapy, in everything you hear women talk about. I think mothers-in-law, most of what women, what their daughters-in-law talk about is the easier you are to be manipulated, the better you are. The easier you are to butter her bread, the better of a daughter-in-law you are. But again, it comes down to, for how long will you pretend? Because I could be buttering her bread, but behind my back, I'm talking trash about her. I could be buttering her bread, I could be good to her, but behind my back, I won't even, by the time I leave that door, I'm talking a lot of nonsense about her.
Yeah.
So again, it goes to, like me for who I am, I will like you for who you are. But one thing I will not do, I will not stoop to that level to fight you. If I can't fight my mother, if I can't abuse my mother, if I cannot be disrespectful to my mother, I respect you as the mother who gave birth to my husband. And I can choose to love you at a distance. I can choose not to visit you. I can choose to give you that space. That's what I hear most women talk. This is not something personal. And it's not that because they hate their mother-in-law or their in-laws, but just for that sanity and for them to be able to bring up their children and their family, grow their families. It has worked.
But as we come to a close, and maybe as you also give us your parting shots, sometimes this trickles down to the kids that are born in this family. And that because you want to keep that respective distance, you also want your children to as well do that. Or you automatically get them to that space where they keep a respective distance with their grandmother. How much of a danger is that? Or is it okay to just make sure that the entire family then keeps that respective distance?
Okay, the grandmother is it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah.
Grandmothers are very sweet to their grandchildren, so there's no way I will deny. Remember, this lady loves her son so much as a mother. What do you think she's going to do to his children? Yeah, you know. So I will not groom that hate relationship, but I will let them see the grandmother. I will let them go there. I will, like me, my children would go home in school, especially my elder daughter. These are the one I have really held on to her. She's been mommy's baby. But my elder daughter, who's named after my in-laws, actually schools used to close like this, and she's like, Mom, bye. I'm going to Shosho. Shosho is waiting for me. I would give her space with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as long as we agree, if I have decided my daughter is not going to eat lollipops because I don't want her to be sick. I don't want my daughter to be left out where
she's spoiled. Yes. That is good.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Parting shots as we close.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But learn how to coexist. Daughters-in-law, know that you are also going to be one day a daughter-in-law.
And a mother-in-law as well.
Sorry, a mother-in-law. So treat your mothers-in-law the way you'd want them to treat you. And mothers-in-law, always know that this daughter that you're mistreating now might be someone you will need in future to take care of you, to take care of your medical, to send your children to go take care of you, to send her children to go take care of you. So always breed that good relationship, no hate relationship, because again, as I say, time changes a lot of things. Time determines a lot of things, because today you treat me badly. You never know tomorrow.
Yeah.
You will be swallowing your pride. Today, like I say this because I look at just the other day in my parting shot. Did you see what Mrs. Magoha said?
Yeah.
She said when she was getting married, the mother told the doctor, "Are you willing
to take care of
to marry both of us, to take care of me?"
Yeah.
So, like personally, I put that so deep because I have daughters only. I have 2 daughters, and I need to have a good relationship to my son-in-law, because I don't know what the future holds.
That's true.
Yeah, I might be hating on him now. Maybe my daughter is not married. They're married from different ethnic communities, just the way I got married into a different community, not
your own.
Yeah. So there are small things that someone can carry along all through, and there are small things that I hear on a day-to-day, but be kind.
Yeah.
Just be kind.
Be kind. You never know what tomorrow holds. And true to it, Magoha, as the wife would agree that he took care of the mother eventually. Thank you so much, Cecilia Mutemi, a psychologist, for speaking to us this morning. These conversations will always be there, and they will always be true and real, especially when they're happening to you. So if you're just joining us, it streams on our social media platforms. Do not hesitate to watch that moment and pick a lesson or two. My name is Linda Lela. It was good having you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Do have yourself a lovely Thursday ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, like you see, these are the fabrics we use for the sofas. Yeah, there are different types of fabrics. Sabak.
This is the best way to go. Eat color, eat raw, like this is alive. Well, 2022 is behind us. 2023 is here with us. What are your plans? We here at TV47's Morning Cafe have great plans for you. We're talking about information, we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about the greatness for the year. So make sure that you're always with us every morning.